Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I am the GM Philosopher, and today we're talking about 12 ways that you can make your games more awesome as a new GM. Now these tips will work for anybody, but this is really important for new GMs because as a new GM, you want to run the best games you can and you really want to maximize impact so that your players will want to keep coming back time after time. Now, not too long ago, I did a live stream on this topic. We talked about a lot of awesome stuff in that live stream. And one of the best things that happened during that live stream was that in addition to the points I gave, a lot of the commenters, people who were in the live stream with me, gave their 2 cents. And so we ended up with a whole list of points that were, to be honest, even 3 times better than my initial list. One of the issues though was that live stream was like 40 minutes long, and I doubt very many people are gonna go watch the whole thing to dig all of those tips out. Now, with that being said, I've been thinking what would be the best way to kind of repackage some of these topics. You know, maybe make a fresh video, maybe edit that video down. Well, I'll tell you what, someone beat me to the punch. Dirty Socks 1990 sent me an email the other night where all of the major tips and pieces of advice, kind of the threads of GM wisdom, were extracted from that 40-minute live session and put into a concise list of 12 different points, each one with a key point, an action to take, or a list of actions to take, and the outcome you should be looking for. And this is an amazing list. I asked Dirty Socks if I could share this in email, and they basically said, yes, share your heart's content. And you know what? I am going to. I'm going to share it in this video. So in this video, you're going to hear the 12 points that not only I come up with some of these, but the community came up with some of these. These are definitively 12 points across the board from a range of very successful, very experienced GMs about how to make your D&D games or any TTRPG game even more awesome. And I want to go over them with you really quick. So buckle in because we're going to go through these fast, get you maximum value in the least amount of time. And let's start with point number 1, feedback and learning. The key point here, regularly ask for player feedback after sessions. The actions to take, listen, learn, and implement constructive criticism without getting upset. The outcome you should be looking for, continuous improvement and better gameplay experience. Point number 2, session planning. The key point here is to find a balance in preparation. Don't over or under prepare. The actions to take, start small with a basic outline, a few quests, and a map. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. Outcomes to look for, flexibility and ease in managing the game, allowing room for improvisation. Number 3, improvise and adapt. The key point here is to practice improvisation and incorporate player ideas into the story. The actions to take, regularly improvise during the sessions and use player input for story twists. The outcome you should be looking for, enhanced immersion and creative gameplay. I'm going to take a break right here and tell you that if you have a tip that you'd like to share for new GMs, drop it in the comment. Also, if you have a question or a request for a future video, drop that in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's provide maximum value to anyone who may watch this video in the future, help them run the best games possible. All right, let's move on to number 4, player engagement. The key point here, encourage creativity in players' characters' roles without directing their choices. Actions to take, offer options, not instructions. Let them expand their backstories during gameplay. The outcome you want to look for is increased player investment and richer role playing. Tip number 5, rule and character familiarity. Okay, a key point here is to understand basic game mechanics and players' character classes. This is really important. Actions to take, study combat skills and character abilities. Use this knowledge in session prep, okay? The outcome you should be looking for, smooth gameplay and better handling of in-game situations. Tip number 6, session recap and immersion. The key point here, start sessions with a recap to set the scene, actions to take, briefly review previous events to reinforce immersion. And then the outcome you should be looking for is players stay engaged and focus on the current narrative. That's kind of what you're looking for. Now let's move on to tip number 7. Key point here, create custom magical items and unique experiences. The actions you should take here include modify standard items and introduce unique elements tied to player actions, okay? The outcome you should be looking for is memorable encounters and increased player excitement. Let's move on to point number 8. The key point, incorporating new players. Seamlessly introduce new players into ongoing campaigns. The actions to take here, find logical story reasons for their inclusion and create an introductory event, okay? The outcome you should be looking for is a smooth transition and cohesive party dynamics when bringing in new players. Let's move on to number 9, Backstory integration. Key point, use backstories to tie characters to the world and each other. Actions to take include offering skill points for backstory connections, using flashbacks for character development, etc. The outcome you should be looking for is deeper character immersion and enriched storylines. Let's move on to number 10, handling player power levels, okay? This is about keeping the game balanced. The key point here is to set sensible limits to maintain game balance. Actions to take include establishing parameters without removing player agency, and the outcome you're looking for is challenging but rewarding gameplay. It's very important. Now let's move on to tip number 11, continuous improvement, okay? What's the key point here? Reflect on each session to identify successes and areas for improvement. Actions to take include make lists of what went well and what could be better, then adjust accordingly. The outcome you're looking for is steady growth as a DM and better overall campaign quality. And here we go, number 12, the last one, loose ends and plot hooks. Key point, keep track of unresolved story elements. Actions to take include maintaining a document of loose ends for potential future plot developments. You can also use Google Sheets for this, right? You can use a notebook, whatever, but maintaining those loose ends and keeping track of them is important. And the outcome you should be looking for here are opportunities for rich, interconnected storytelling and surprises. Listen, being a new GM isn't always easy, but if you incorporate these 12 tips, these are 12 tips that every new GM should incorporate. And if you do incorporate these, and I'm telling you, these points are well curated from not just my experiences, but from the experiences of people who have followed my content, who've left comments, and who have interacted with me. And this is a summary, you could say, of a lot of experience from experienced game masters, dungeon masters, people who've run various types of TTRPGs that can really help to make your games at the table even better. And if you pay a little bit of attention, try to work on all 12 of these things over time, you will no doubt get better. Your games will become more awesome and your players will have more fun at your table. So hey, that's all I've got to say on this one. Get out there and play some awesome D&D. Get out there and play some awesome TTRPGs this week. Do not let these 12 things swoop by unnoticed. Work on them a little bit and you will notice massive improvements. Hey, thank you so much for coming by. I'm creating videos almost every day about the best game in the world, D&D. I will see you awesome people on the next one.